Hey everybody, first I just want to thank everybody for all the well wishes for my surgery. It went well. I am recovering a little groggy, so I'll try not to drag this out too much, but I just happened to be listening to one of the many live streams done over the past few days by BJ, and of course there were things in there that I wanted to address. First of all, BJ, I see you had another group of people leave you. I'm not surprised. Do you ever actually sit and think, this is not normal? Something I'm doing is not working. You know, you said something to Chris Proudford about his many marriages that sometimes you're the problem. Well, turn that back on you. Sometimes you're the problem, and you seem to be the common denominator in all of these people that left. They all had valid reasons that you upset them, or that you've complained to them, or you ghosted them. There's consistent patterns in the reasons that people leave. You need to look at that and really take inventory of what you are doing and what you could change. I'm even having to address this again because I hate talking about this, but I do not understand how your brain cannot comprehend this. You get so irate every time you hear people mention that they don't like what's happening to Clue's daughter or to Queen Bee's children. And you get angry and you're like, what is happening to them? Nothing's happening to their kids. I don't hear people talking about their kids. My kids, it's always my kids that have been affected. First of all, I don't understand how your kids are affected. The CPS thing, yes, that was a direct thing that directly affected them. They had to be interviewed, and that was done by someone from your camp that was disgruntled with you for quite a while. I'm getting to where I'm at a loss of words to explain this to you. So I'm going to try it this way. When it comes to Clue's daughter, think about this, okay? You were assaulted when you were 21, you said. What if people on YouTube went and found this guy that assaulted you? They contacted him. They looked into your family and friends to see if they still talked to him. They went to their Facebook pages, found who they talked to, connected to, and if there was any at all connection, you still, and brought that to YouTube. What if they came to you and said, you were wrong because you didn't turn him into the police right away? So you left him to go assault all these other women. If you had gone straight to the police, you could have stopped all that. So you have let a bunch of other women get victimized. And what if that was brought up every day that you were talked about and shoved in your face? So you had to relive that every time you got talked about. Because you're not hurting Clue. You're hurting the victim. You're also hurting all the other victims in your audience watching that went through that. That was that little kid that knew that their parent tried their hardest to protect them and they couldn't stop it because they didn't know. And then reliving turning them in to your parents, telling someone, and how hard that was, and going through the courts, going through all of that, and how hard it was on the parent seeing it. It's a nightmare. And every time you're up on your panel talking about chomos and supporting pedos, and it takes a bunch of victims back to that spot. And Clue's daughter is now an adult and old enough to get on here. And she might listen to her mom's channel every once in a while. She might check channels in this community, whatever. She's old enough to. And every time she hears about her mom, that's all she hears about. You don't attack other things. You want to go for that. It's very insensitive to a large number of people when you keep talking about that. And quit trying to tie it into you because he lives in North Carolina. And you're trying to make some implication that your children are in danger because he's in North Carolina. Stop. He has nothing to do with YouTube, never should have been brought to YouTube, needs to be dropped off YouTube. Queen's kids, give me a break. Yes, they are affected. These are teenagers. Queen D doesn't put her kids on here. I've never heard them in the background except maybe 2 words before she can mute real quick. I don't know their names. I don't know anything about them besides teenage and daughter. And that's only because of the police reports they got FOIA'd. So you have a man who's FOIAing police reports that are about teenage girls. And no, you can't FOIA a kid's police record, but these reports revolve around those kids. So everything about them is on there except their actual names. So quit with the whole, we don't even know their names. Their names are blocked out. It's obvious that it's still about teenage daughters. And then y'all are going around accusing her of being a child abuser. Do you not think she would have been charged, arrested for child abuse if what y'all are saying happened? Come on. There would be CPS. There would be charges if she was choking her child. Quit with that. That's dangerous rhetoric because you also have a man on here announcing custody visitation when she's home alone, when the kids are there, when the kids aren't there, wanting to talk to the father of those kids, saying that he's already emailed with that father. He knows where her exes work. He said that on your panel the other night. He knows a whole lot of things that he shouldn't know. It's very strange for a man of his age to be that interested in someone else's custody. He's stalking her court cases that have to do with custody. He wants body cam footage. Like, it's messed up. You would be freaked out. I mean, you go into a panic if someone says they heard your kid in the background. What would you do if they were going around here saying that you choked your kid? So quit saying that nothing is happening to Clue or Queen Bee's children. Queen Bee's children are also teenagers. They're above the age 13 level, I think, to get on YouTube. They know their mom has a channel, obviously, so they could get on here and hear about this 50-year-old man stalking their custody and wanting to know where they're at and what was involved in body cam footage. And you think that's not creepy to teenage girls? It's weird. Then you mentioned something about the backpack thumbnail that Queen Bee had and how that affected your children. I don't understand this whole affecting your children because they shouldn't be hearing anything that's said on YouTube, first of all. Have people said stuff to hurt you about your children? Yes. Has there been inappropriate things in my mind said? Yes. Should your children know about any of that? No. The only thing of any of this that should have directly affected them is the CPS call by Dark Horse. And you have no proof that anybody else called. If your case is closed, they should have left you paperwork, a pamphlet, something with a phone number to call, saying that you can get your case report log. And on that log, it will list everything that was alleged and then what they, what they came out and saw and what the conclusion was. They won't put the name of the caller, but if there was more than one call, there will be multiple allegations and multiple phone calls. To solve this problem, you freaking out every day that there was more than one caller, all you have to do is call that phone number and request a copy. It's not hard. Same thing with FOIAing the police reports. You could do that and see who called and how many exactly. Be an adult. Take care of things instead of just sitting online freaking out about things that you're just taking wild guesses at and listening to random trolls coming into your chat saying things. It's actually you, in fact, BJ, that has the history of referring to people as predators. You used to say Granny was stalking your children and had a weird obsession with children. And then you said Queen Bee was because of the whole video thing. And then you went to nonsense was because she was cutting your children out of the video so people wouldn't hear it. And then Clear was because she knew the names of your children, which you put out a million times. And that kind of narrative is what gets people hurt. That is the dangerous narrative. People saying that you're not a good mom in their opinions, that's not a dangerous narrative to put out. Being a predator of children, yes, that is. And that's a big problem with you, is so you say you don't watch anybody. And if that's true, then the people that come and tell you things are picking out the most negative things from streams and bringing them back to you and not telling you anything that's logical or rational words spoken, such as the nonsense situation, whatever she was cutting your kids out so that she could play clips and not play your kids' voices. Someone on panel said, she's clipping your kids. She's keeping your kids, and flipped it totally around. And that's how that all got started, because you just run with whatever anybody says or puts in your chat. If it's something that's going to look bad on someone you don't like, you are going to run with it, proof or not. You don't care. You're just going to take off. And that's how a lot of your problems start. And I think because a lot of your life is rooted in jealousy, you turn that around on people and think that they're the jealous ones, such as I keep hearing over and over about Kelsey and how beautiful she is. And everybody dislikes her because she's so pretty and she's a natural beauty. And we're jealous because we'll never look like her. And no, most of us over here like to build each other up. If someone's pretty, I will tell them in a heartbeat. It has nothing to do with it. I think her songs suck. That's why I don't like Kelsey, but that's just me. Has nothing to do with their looks. I barely pay attention to people's avatars, to be honest. I really don't care. But everything with you is they're jealous. Everything, Craig, in the background, they're jealous. They're jealous. They want what you have. What do you have? This whole jealousy thing, I don't understand it. And the only way that I can rationalize it in my head is that it's actually projection of how you are feeling about others. I'm going to offer you just some simple parenting advice. And this is just because I have older teenagers and kids in their 20s. And I found that when they're going through something, when they're upset, because I heard you ask for prayers for your daughter because she was upset over something and you felt bad that you couldn't fix it. A lot of times just being there, sitting with them, not even saying anything, watch a movie together, go window shopping, sit and eat junk food, just anything to kind of distract them and let them know that you care is the best thing to do. It really helps them work through it and not feel alone no matter what they're going through. And that's just parenting advice from someone who has several children of that age range. And BJ, the Michaela Rain story, you're even not covering it. You're making it about you. I don't even know how you do that anymore, but you do. The thing about her story is there's many, many facets to that story. It's not just an online bullying. There was several things going on, and she was a beautiful soul who had struggles, and she deserves dignity when she is discussed. And she deserves, if it's going to be covered by someone, she deserves it to be covered by someone who has taken the time to research, to look into it, to really understand her. People like Chasing, who have followed her for over a year, who know her, who are familiar with her, that can talk about her in a just way that covers who she really is. Instead of trying to turn this into an online bullying stream, you say that nobody wants to have the hard conversations. And that's not it. If you want to talk about online bullying, find another case, another example of something that is just online bullying, and do it that way. Don't use Michaela because it's just not appropriate. If you want to talk about self-harm related to bullying, do it. Have that conversation. Just leave her out of it. And if you want to have this talk about mental health, do it. You know, I hear you talking about how people around here view mental health wrong because we say that your mental health is your responsibility. And my belief, it is. You're a mom. So you have children that need you. That's why your mental health should come first before YouTube, before anything. If you feel like you're getting out of control, you need to log off for a few weeks, a month, get some therapy for yourself, for your kids, so that you can be the mom that they need and not stressed and sick over YouTube. You can stop all this. You have completely stopped doing true crime. Your true crime channel is nothing but drama now. You've got people leaving by the droves. I don't think you read your comment sections because people are telling you in there why they're leaving, what the problem is, what they would like to see, but you don't do any of that. Mental health isn't a joke, and it is your responsibility. In any situation where I think my kids or my family are in danger, I'm getting away from it. Even if it's like a kid's sports team where they're being negatively impacted by the group, I'll pull them out of it. If we have family events that are with family members that are toxic to my kids, we won't go. If I had a job that was somehow affecting my kids, I would quit and find something else. And if it was affecting my mental health, which I have done before, I've worked in some hard fields and I have had to quit before because I just couldn't emotionally handle it at the time. You have to take that seriously because it is serious. And it's even more serious because you have 5 kids that need their mom. I understand people shouldn't be pushed off of anything. I understand that. But at the same time, sometimes you got to swallow your pride and do what's best for you and your kids. Because that's what matters. That's what you're going to have for the rest of your life. Not YouTube. Your memories and good times in life are going to be centered around your children. I hope. So I saw that there's more people starting to review and feel sorry for BJ. And we're asking some questions. So I'm just going to kind of clear this up as much as I can. Someone saying they don't know what has happened to anybody else's kids besides BJ's. I will tell you because Clue has said this. Her daughter was SA'd at a young age by her then husband. She came to Clue and told her. Clue turned him in. He went to prison. He recently got out. I don't know when. And this got brought to YouTube around the Sebastian Rosner case, and it is brought up all the time by BJ. She is forever saying that Clue married a Chomo and supported him, and she says things like, that's not the only pedo that you've supported, is it, Clue? Implying that her now fiance is also that, and he's not. She has clipped comments implying that Clue was the one that assaulted her daughter. She has panel guests that have created entire YouTube channels and websites that have doxed Clue, everything about Clue, everything about the ex that did this crime. They talk about details of the crime, all of this. And BJ promotes that channel that is doxing Clue and her family out. Queen Bee, there was an event from years ago that got brought back up last year that ended up with a FOIA of Queen Bee's house where there was an incident that involved her teenage daughter. That FOIA got passed to Center, who publicized it, read out the police reports on her daughter. Of course, the names were redacted, but everything else about the police report was there. Made that his content, and then FOIA'd more stuff from her house. Found another police report that was a fight between siblings that they're using now to accuse Queen Bee of abusing her child, which of course was not the fact because she didn't get charged, arrested, none of that happened. And he is keeping track of all of her custody hearings. He is announcing whenever her children are home and not home. He has contacted their father by email and is trying to interview him. He has looked into her life as much as finding out her other exes and where they work. Creepy stuff that involves her teenage daughters. And also to note, Clue does not bring her daughter on this platform at Clue's channel. She has never spoken. I don't know her written name. She's called Baby Clue. That's all I know. Queen Bee never heard her children's names. I actually don't even know how many children she has. She mutes when they come in the room. I don't know. We don't hear their children at all. As opposed to BJ, whose children, she not only brings them up to talk, but they're constantly in the background talking, yelling all hours of the day and night, which is her choice, whatever. But it is a public platform, and whatever people hear, people are going to hear. And the funniest thing I heard was BJ complaining because people are making content for money. She's like, they're all just covering me because I'm their bread and butter. I make their money. Well, I mean, that's what you're on here for. It's obviously why you keep responding, because it makes you money. Although now it's starting to work against you because you're losing people. After the panel you held the other night, I'm really shocked at some people who stayed. That was disgusting. It really was. And I don't know why you don't understand that you don't have to respond to everything. You know your family, you know your life. What does it matter if strangers on the internet think differently? About minor things I'm talking about, because you come on, if somebody said your hair is greasy, you have to come on and show your hair and prove that it's not. You had your son come to the phone because Queen Bee had said that your kids were visiting their grandma after CPS had come. You got them up out of bed to come and say that they were at home and not at grandma's. Like, these things are crazy to me. You put so much weight on what strangers think, and I don't understand why. I mean, you have to be really insecure for it to bother you that much, because you will respond to everything, and that is part of your problem. These people have genuine issues with you and what you do, but when they see that they can get a rise out of you for every little thing that they say, they're going to keep pushing all those buttons. You've got to learn to shut that out and not care. The people that are there, that watch you consistently, that have been there, are going to be there no matter what's said elsewhere. You know yourself. Nobody else is going to change you. Their opinions aren't going to change you. You can't let that change you. Be your own person and move forward. Look forward. Where's your channel going? Think about it. Again, I'm going to say that if you would strike people that are stream sniping you or doing things that break terms of service, you could also cut back on some of that. I don't understand why you don't do that. It makes no sense to me. And what exactly is going on with Irony Rose? Why does she keep getting blocked? It's super weird. Super weird. I've never seen that happen anywhere else. I think what I've observed with BJ is that she's kind of like a chameleon on here. She can see what other people are doing, and she kind of changes her online persona when she sees things that would help her, or that if she behaves a certain way, she might fit into a different group. So, there's different types of intelligence. There's book smarts, there's street smarts, people smart, there's emotionally intelligent people. And in my opinion, BJ's not particularly book smart or street smart, but she's very people smart in the sense that she has watched and learned how to emotionally manipulate her viewers. Now, I'm going to say something here, and I hope it doesn't offend anyone, because I'm not meaning this in a derogatory, judgmental way. BJ has revealed that she is an addict in recovery. Most addicts, not all, learn to be very manipulative in order to feed their addiction and get away with the behavior. They learn emotional manipulation and can be extremely skilled in it. I think that BJ came into the true crime community through Natasha Cooper, who is an expert at emotional manipulation, and she sat back and she learned. She was a sponge and soaked up all the ways to effectively manipulate her viewers. And I have 100% seen BJ do and say the exact same things as her mentor in order to develop parasocial relationships that benefit her. And I believe that BJ is now addicted to the internet and the excitement from the drama. She'll use anyone and anything to get what she wants, and that includes her children. I'm sorry. I never want to believe that someone would go that far, but I'm also not going to deny what I see and hear for myself. I mean, when Craig is in the room, she must have her finger hovering over the mute button, because as soon as he starts saying something the least bit inappropriate, mute. Her kids can come in and have a whole conversation with her, and she never mutes. So she has an option to do that, and she can do it. We've seen her. She chooses not to, which is fine. But then if something goes a little wild in what is said, people are going to use it, and they have that right to. Okay, my voice is getting gravelly. My throat's starting to hurt from my surgery, so I'm going to have to cut it off here. But seriously, I really do think that if anybody is having any mental health struggles, you feel like the things on here are getting to be too much to you, please take a step back, a few days, a few weeks, anything. Take care of yourself first. That's what's important. And if you have kids, they need their parent there for them. And that's what's most important. So please focus on yourself and be emotionally aware of where you're at with your mental health. There's lots of different ways to get therapy. There's online therapy now that's awesome. Lots of different options. There's a lot of financial assistance with things like that if you know where to look. And if you're in the US, you can simply text or dial 988 if you are in crisis or having any thoughts of self-harm. Please take care of yourselves. This stuff can get really heavy. And the things that are being used as weapons against each other are things that hurt all of the viewers too, not just the creators that they're aimed at. And I just want everyone to remember that and don't be ashamed if you have to take a step back. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Talk to you later.